We're making progress, yes. We got a new guest, yes. It's left to the left. It's RachelRocks.com's our guest. That's Phoenix. He wears glasses. These people taking us to masses. He knows LD controls. That's all that he really knows. We want to wake my new guest. A Hallmark town, as you see.
Yeah.
Beautiful looking town.
Very much.
Yeah. We're really pleased about it. This is my B I work on. Unfortunately, like about now, this is where the best part comes on.
Okay.
And I don't rap onto it. That's my favorite part.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a rapper by any part, but that's how we started off. So instead
Well
of,
done.
Yeah,
Well done.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, you do the same one every time?
No,
you make it
different every
Look
time.
at you.
Some of them are really terrible, and sometimes it's like, wow, that was cool. You know.
Nice.
I don't know how it started. We have 70 of them, and whatever. You know.
I like it. It's different.
Yeah.
It's
So
fantastic.
how would you drive?
Longer than it was gonna be. I didn't exactly understand where Fresno was.
Yeah, it tricked you.
It was a little. I was like, yeah, how far could it be?
Yeah.
It's like a couple hours. But it was fine. Lots of. They're just doing a lot of detours.
Yes.
So I live in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
So, I had shows in San Diego, and then we came home, and till it's just literally it's just my living room was just like different suitcases from different weekends, and I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I was like literally like I did shower, but I questioned it. Like, is this important?
Yeah. Is it gonna be on video?
Clearly, I didn't brush my hair. I just kind of threw it up and went. But
It's the look.
yeah, I didn't get pulled over or anything for speeding, so I'm good.
Oh yeah.
That's fine.
They really don't pay attention.
They don't give a shit.
No.
I don't give a shit.
There's it seems like lately, Phoenix, do me a favor, can you turn the fan off? I forgot to do that. It seems like lately they've been lenient on a lot of things. They're just letting shit go. You know?
Well, I mean, half the country is. I mean, I live in West Hollywood. I don't know if the homeless are coming to us, or these are the people that already live there and now they are homeless. But you kind of speeding tickets are kind of in the way of all the things that need to be fixed.
Yeah.
They're not very important.
No.
Unless someone's just being egregious with it,
Oh, 100%.
then that's different.
Don't
But,
get them.
no.
Yeah. We have a big homeless problem here also. Our mayor.
I would be homeless here. Oh my gosh, this is the cutest little town I've ever seen. I walked through and I was like, I was just like, because I kind of tried to get to the parking lot back here, and I passed it like a few times.
Yeah.
And then I kept going through these other little streets, and they're so cute.
Yes.
Oh my goodness,
All the
they were
houses.
so cute.
They're growing. We have the circus across the street because they're fixing that building up and
A
behind. They're tenting it off. There's like termites, so it looks like it's a circus.
Oh, I thought you meant actual circus.
That'd
I didn't
be
know those still
amazing.
existed.
We wouldn't even be here, like circus only,
Yeah.
But but they're redoing that area up there
Yeah.
and making a Veterans Memorial Center. And
Oh.
they have live events. Like
Nice.
this whole area here, they're trying to make it like a little tourist attraction. There's like 6 areas in Fresno like this.
They come to beautiful Fresno.
Yes, and
Screw Disneyland.
exactly.
Come to beautiful
They're
Fresno.
supposed to get a amusement park.
Shut your face.
We are the 5th largest population in California. People don't know that, So
Why do y'all want people here then? Don't you want people like, don't tell anyone it's nice here?
well, the other problem is we also have the lowest wages in the state.
Yeah, but what?
Lowest wages. So there's not a lot of money to be made. That's why, I work in San Jose typically every day.
Oh.
I would drive to San Jose in the morning, come home every single day because the pay up there is twice as much. Typically, besides this awesome fame that I get here, I'm a union electrician by trade.
Oh, okay.
So that's what we do. So
Okay.
actually, I'm home for quite a while. Thursday, I'm getting shoulder surgery. I tore my arm at Topgolf. Not proud of that moment,
Oh.
but it happened.
Okay.
Driving range is difficult sometimes when you're old.
And you were golfing.
Well, it was Topgolf.
Yeah.
That's like a driving range. It's almost like an arcade they have in Vegas.
Oh, like a golf and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. But I was totally Vegased out at the moment, So
I see.
And then I was
understand.
swinging.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I tore my shoulder.
You, sir, should have not been golfing.
No.
No.
And then the worst thing is I have a male complex where the dude next to me he's like, oh, look how far I hit the ball. I'm like, oh, yeah? Well, look how far I hit the ball.
I'm from Texas. We call it a pissing contest.
All day long. Yeah. So I get in trouble all the time. It is what it is. So, but you said Hollywood, a lot of homeless. You said West Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm not from there, so that's where
West
a lot of them are.
Hollywood used to be nice.
Yeah.
Now it's just like a sea of homeless people.
Once the transgenders left, the homeless moved in.
no, transgenders are still there. It's really just hard to tell who's what. It always has been. I don't really understand the big like deal about it. I think I just maybe grew up in a really liberal household, or things were just explained. Or I'm simple. Like, if you wear a dress, cool. I don't care if you have a mustache. Your name's Brenda. Awesome.
Whatever.
I just don't. The pronoun thing fucks me up because that's just grammatically incorrect. Just tell me what your name is. Just tell me what your name is. It could be anything. It could be Chair. I will call you Chair. It's fine. I don't need to know what you do with your legs. It's like, but that's just me. I just don't really question things. So someone, I just one of those people. I know there are people that just love to be Captain Obvious, and they're like, oh well, that maybe is a man. I'm like, why do you care? Are you gonna ask him, her, she, he on a date? Because if you're not, it ain't any of your business. Yeah. So
unless you're their doctor,
turn around and finish your sandwich. That's just kind of where my mindset is. No, I just don't. I
agree.
I just don't care about other people. I just don't. Unless that person is wearing a piece of clothing that I might like, I really don't notice.
Yeah.
I really rarely notice.
Yeah. I saw a comedian. She posted something today on like Instagram, and she showed a girl in the audience that wasn't laughing, and she kept zooming in like picture after picture until she was totally zoomed in. She's like, I guess you can't make everybody happy. I'm like, no. She was concentrating on your outfit and then daydreaming how she looked in your outfit. She wasn't thinking about your jokes.
Maybe.
Good chance of it.
Maybe it just depends on the comedian.
Yeah, well, I won't say her name, but I'm not a big fan of her.
Don't say it. Don't say it. You'll get me in trouble.
Yeah. So for me, like, I have this conversation when it comes to female comics. Sometimes I just don't like when it comes to like sex talk.
You know, it's a
cheap.
Well, here's the thing: is as a female comic, if I hear one more male comic talk about their love of their own penis, I will just throw myself into oncoming traffic, which is probably what they would like. I've seen so many act outs of their dates and their bragging of their sexual prowess that we all know they don't have because they're broke and nobody will fuck them.
Yeah.
Little incels that they are. So. You know, female comics do talk about, I think all comics talk about sex. All comics talk about sex because none of us get laid. None of us. We're always busy. We're undateable. We think weird thoughts. Our weird thoughts come out of our mouth at the most inopportune times. No one will fuck us after a while. Until we have money.
Oh, that's what it takes?
Then people will fuck us because we have money. But until then, like when you're working all the time and your brain is doing, like I'm never really... I can't imagine I'd be a fun person to date just because I'm always thinking of something else.
Yeah.
So if you're a man, and no offense, but you guys have very fragile little egos.
Oh,
very big fragile egos. So when we're not, oh my God, you're amazing, just you. You know, you tend not to like that stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's really it is what it is. But you do write what you know. So I think in the beginning, when you're starting out, obviously it's sex-based, dating,
I
things like that.
General.
I personally, I don't mind it if it's funny. It's not the topic. It's the person wasn't funny enough about it. If something's funny, then it's funny.
Yeah.
It's just really hard to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, clever's clever.
And everyone... You know what I mean? Everyone has a dating is hard. Everyone has a, you know,
self-loathing.
You know what's funny is self-loathing doesn't work for me. I tried it out. I tried on my self-loathing suit, and I just got daggers from my audience because they don't want to hear me what I think my problem is.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I mean, I just, it's really hard to figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. A lot of times it's not the joke, it's the delivery
100%.
of the joke. Or your persona. Maybe you just don't have the persona for that joke.
Yeah. I knew this guy, I didn't know him, but I saw him a couple of times, and he was a good-looking comic, and he understood that he was a good-looking guy, so when he made jokes, he had to kind of joke the fact he was good-looking. You know, and then he even joked around that his girlfriend at the time, he's better looking than his girlfriend, and like he would fit in her clothes better than she would. You know, so he played to the right thing who he was, his character.
Yeah, I mean, I know a few comics like that. If it works, it works. You just have to be careful not to beat a dead horse after a while.
Yeah.
And you better pray you never lose your looks, because then you don't have any jokes.
Exactly.
I've heard women say, and because I'm so hot. I don't like to say that just because it's I mean, I was hot in the 90s. So
still
it was
very
just
beautiful.
very, yeah, but it's just like, I don't know. It's so subjective. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And then there's something, I mean, I'm already pretty arrogant when I talk to begin with. My voice is very condescending, I've been told. And it's just, I'm like, just think of it as my accent.
Well, you've been a lot of places. Like I said, I'm just looking like I went to, it was AMD or ADM, your page. And it's
Oh,
like,
IMDb?
oh, dude. Like, I couldn't even go through it until I'm like, because my show, you have
I've
so
done a
much.
lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always worked. I've always, in some aspect, worked in the entertainment industry.
You've always been that fantasy girl, as I see.
Always. You know, it was a niche thing. I was also lucky to be making an insane amount of money because we didn't have the internet when
Yeah.
I was, blossoming, so to speak. So, I really got to capitalize on that. Now they're just kind of falling off trees. Dime a dozen, a girl here, a girl
So
there.
many.
I honestly think that's why the market of what people get paid isn't so good because it's supply and demand. There's just way too much.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying they're making $1 million. I'm like, y'all can't be making $1 million off ass shots. There's no way. There's sooner or later, one of you will have to develop a talent. I happily kind of passed my torch, so to speak.
Yeah.
I really, it's hard getting older. It's hard getting older in,
As a female, especially.
I'd like to say that I'd like to think I'll do it gracefully. I'm not. I don't think any woman does too much. It's very hard because I always have like physical proof that I was once skinnier and cuter. So that's difficult, and that's just my own ego. I realize it, but that's why I'm a comic now. But it is nice to be preparing for something to do where I'm still feel like I'm being heard. Actually, being heard more than I was before because nobody listened to what the fuck I was saying before.
You weren't there for lines.
Yeah, I mean, I everything. This is the only thing. Stand up is the only job that I've done that wasn't out of duress. Out of I need money, not chasing a dollar.
You produced 2 films?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they were short
Yeah.
films. They were short.
But did you enjoy that?
I'm very bossy, so yeah. I'm naturally very good at it. So it's the only job where I don't know the outcome, and I can't rely on flirting. I can't rely. My looks work against me. Being in Playboy, being a pussycat doll, all that stuff, it works against me. It doesn't help me for stand-up. It does me absolutely no favors.
Being pretty doesn't help.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, there you go. You understand my pain.
Yeah.
And it's just, I like the process. I kind of like the struggle a little bit because I do enjoy working for something versus being thought that you're just getting it because it's different. It's just different.
No,
it's nice. It's nicer. And I also know that, like, should I decide to wake up and look my age and, eat whatever I want for the rest of my life, I can still do stand up.
So like I said, I've done a lot of research in the last, 3 or 4 days, and from here to, seeing you answer every TMZ question on the.
Oh my God! If I could go back in
time
different. And not do so many things, everyone thinks it would be you wouldn't be stripper, you wouldn't marry all those men. No. It would be I would never have talked to TMZ. We didn't know any better.
Yeah.
We didn't know any better. Oh, so awful.
And they
it's
set
so
it up.
Shameful.
Go to the restaurant because that's where they're going to be.
Well, here's my problem, and it's always been my problem with that. I've always gone to those restaurants.
Yeah.
Those are my friends naturally.
Yeah.
Y'all showed up at the restaurants. Go fuck yourselves. I'm not going to not go where I go because that's there. I went through a phase where I started flipping off cameras, and then because I didn't like it. I have intense anxiety. I have really bad anxiety, and so I panic a lot, and it wasn't really good for my mental health.
Yeah.
But also the way I was living my lifestyle at the time, hanging out with Hollywood trash in the hills to God knows what time in the morning.
Yeah.
I was fucking off. I missed a lot of opportunities because I was working a lot, and then I I don't know. So LA is like a popularity contest, high school all over again.
It's kind of like something like I told, like, as an electrician, we have apprentices, and I tell them you need to be employable and not employed. Because sometimes people are like, I'm working now.
I was enjoying myself a little too much.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'd never really worked that hard to get a job. They all just kind of came one after the other. So I didn't understand, like, oh, I might not book something if I say no or don't show up to set. And I was doing that, and I really kind of had to get myself back on track. And then it stopped.
The window closes.
And then it stopped. I wasn't people weren't taking me seriously. I was too busy playing celebrity instead of doing the work. You know what I mean? Like, they definitely put it in everyone's head not to talk to me if I'm somewhere, so now they don't. And, you know, you really have to, like, trying to reinvent yourself all the time is very hard, especially when you've chosen. I chose really early on. I don't think it was even a conscious choice. I just went with what was easy, and what was easy was playing a fantasy, playing a niche character, a version of myself that, and I don't think I realized what I was doing. I don't regret it, because I have every opportunity led to another opportunity, and here I am, and now I use all that stuff for stand-up. But I really kind of wish I would have pulled my head out of my ass a lot sooner than I did. And I kind of, I try to, explain this to girls that are younger, like, oh, have fun with it, but watch it, because it's really easy. Before you know it, all these years have passed, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't save for winter or something. You know what I mean? You really have to, like, put the work in. I kind of wish I would have started stand up a little bit earlier, just because I just feel like I'm fighting a clock now. Yeah,
but what you're saying right now, I think you're finding a niche. You have such a great point of view. You have so much experience. And
I'm wise,
but you're humbled also.
I'm wise.
You're able to reflect on your mistakes and your greatness and your follies. You should be once a week just coming out with the real Rachel, and then telling, like you said, young girls coming up, real stuff. You don't have to expose anybody, but advice.
Yeah, I mean,
you have so much good advice.
It's really easy to think you're the shit, and I think you should think you're the shit, but you do have to have one foot on the ground. Always. Because it's always when you least expect it that someone just yanks that rug out from under you, and you're like, oh shit.
I always say, like, people think that I'm really cocky and really confident, but I don't always say I'm confident or cocky because I think I'm the shit. I just think if I fall, I'm going to get back up, and I'm going to figure it out, and you won't stop me, and I will eventually figure it out. Not because I'm the best, just because I won't quit.
Yeah.
You know?
I come off much more confident than I actually am. And I do it because I just grew up in a chaotic household. And I went to school with people that didn't seem like they grew up in a chaotic household. So I learned to be a really good liar at a really young age to hide a lot of issues that were going on. So I continue that. And I don't know if that's healthy or not. But I do definitely... I have anxiety going to, like, the post office, but stage, no problem. Yeah. Lots of people, no problem. Auditions, no problem.
You grew up in Santa Monica area?
No, I grew up when I was back and forth between Texas and San Diego.
Okay.
But I went to high school in San Diego. I was painfully, like, we used to call it shy. It was horrifying anxiety. And we didn't know what it was. We didn't have that. We didn't have the luxury of saying, I'm sorry, I'm triggered. Yeah. You were just a fucking weird kid or a pussy, one or the other. That's you had to toughen up. I remember I had I didn't even know what a panic attack is. As a little kid, I don't know what a panic attack is. Like, 14? And I had a coach tell me to walk it off. Do you remember that? Walk it off. Yeah. I'm dying. Walk it off. I'm starting my period. Walk it off. I have a migraine. Walk it off. I got shot. Walk it off. Whatever it was.
It was in the leg.
Just walk it off. You'll be fine. Just walk it off. Run around the track.
Throw some dirt on it.
Exactly. Throw some dirt. Toughen up. Yeah, it was I just never really got that opportunity to cry about anything.
Brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
How many brothers and sisters?
I have one sister, one stepsister, one brother.
What's the age difference?
Oh, there? I'm not going to tell you.
Well, like not age, not your actual age, but like between the two siblings.
I'm 16 years older than my brother.
Oh, okay, that's a different experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my sister is 7 years older than me. So even growing up, I'm basically only child because times she's 15, she had a job. I'm 7 or 8, she's out of the
My
house.
sister is there's a very big gap between my sister and I, but we're still extremely close. Mostly, I think, through trauma bonding, just because we endured the same parents. But yeah, it's funny because she goes, I think I'm older than you now if we go by your math. I'm like, I think you are.
Yeah,
I think you are older than me. I am now the younger sister.
Yeah. I think most women never age after 29. That's where it stops.
I think I decided I stopped aging after 34. I literally I was like, you know what, this isn't for me. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it anymore. I'm gonna age like every 8 years. I'll age a year.
That's even better, like dog years. Yeah,
it's better.
I was married for 10 years, and then when I got divorced, I was about the time of my 30s, and women in their 30s were amazing. I always tell people, like, I was going to college full time, so I was actually going to college with like 20-year-olds, and they would ask me about 30-year-olds. I'm like, dude, these are like real women. Like either they figured it out.
30-year-olds don't have their shit figured out either.
Everybody has broken, but I'm saying that's typically a lot of women. Eventually, even men start to figure things out when they get older.
Men aren't. They're still doughy until they're at least 50.
After 2 kids, I say, then they finally.
Oh my
figure
God,
shit
you have
out.
2 kids?
No, actually, I have 3. This is my oldest.
Oh my
Phyllis.
God,
He's
you're
17.
Hi.
And then I had my 2 kids. My sister was 7 years older than me, so he's actually 18 months older than his brother.
Oh my.
And then my daughter is 13.
Oh wow,
So-
how's that for you?
Oh, awesome! I'm like
Is it-
super dad.
It's good. It's good still.
I've coached everything, done everything. Yeah.
Now I don't
kids are
have
good,
children, and the reason I don't have children because I was a children. I was like they make me itch. No offense, but like it's all my friends have little blessings.
Oh yeah.
And their little blessings are getting mouthy now, and I'm like, you want it?
They try to get. He's a perfect kid. Like he's always been from day one. Like you put himself to sleep, wake up. Like never had a single problem with him.
Self-sufficient there.
Yeah, still to this day, like
He's like, yes, I am.
Yeah, and my other one, he's a little different. You know, he's a grumpy.
What does that mean?
He's a little attitude, like a boy would be, a little bit 16.
He's a bully.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, at least he's not being bullied.
Yeah, exactly. No, he's like 5'11", 200 pounds. He's huge. He plays football.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's good.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's 6 foot. He's not even 18 yet. So
Yeah.
Finally, it took me so long to get to 6 foot.
Adrian.
He's like, I'm stretching. I was like, stretching.
He actually does video editing. He does his here. Our high school is called Buchanan. There's 5 high schools in Clovis, and Buchanan and this other one called Clovis are like 2 of the top high schools in the nation. In wrestling, they were number 1 and number 2 in all of America. So like a lot of athletes come from here. Derek Carr came from the Valley. I don't know if you know anything about sports, but
I'll go like this, like I do.
Awesome. Yeah, we got people on the Yankees. We got people all over the place that are from Fresno. You know, so it's a big deal. I was actually saying, like the Raiders, when the Raiders were moving to Vegas, we have a lot of people from the Raiders who played, or from Fresno. So I was like, they need to come here, but they decided to go to Vegas.
Oh,
we lost. Oh well.
Oh darn.
But we're between L.A. and Oakland. We have this high-speed rail going on. We have an international airport. We have everything you possibly need.
I saw that. I saw your international airport.
Yeah, I built that. But yeah. It only goes to Mexico. But
I was going to say, could I have jet suited here?
No, it's really expensive, right? So like from Fresno to LA, it's like $300.
On jet suite?
I don't know what, but just over there, it's just really expensive. Oh. For some reason, because it's so close. So to make people don't travel that, so it's usually like a transition. So then when they drop you off, who's going to take that seat? Maybe, I don't know.
That is true.
I heard on the news the other day, side topics. Can you turn that up a little bit? I'm getting a little cold here.
Well, if you turn it off, won't it just not pump out any air? Because it is hot as Hades outside.
I'm going to change the thermostat. So now, so we got in here, I think I put it like 65.
Oh.
So I was maybe thinking like 70. Maybe. I won't even get that
70.
Cold. I have an AC
70.
only just for this room. But McDonald's is now going to give out free hamburgers if you're vaccinated. Doesn't seem like a fair deal. But
Just get a little diabetes.
yeah.
Yeah, why not? Why not? How do you have children? I don't have children. You ever notice people without children have so many opinions on how you should raise children? But if I had decided to populate the world with more me's, I would not give them McDonald's. I happen to think it's child abuse.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, mind you, I understand, like, you're literally like, dude, I have $20 and 2 kids.
Yeah. Well,
you
I won't buy you
know,
McDonald's
I don't
anymore.
think
Well,
I'd buy the McDonald's. I mean, I think there's many other choices, but I think for some people, I think they might feel like that might be their only option
Yeah.
because they have these like big meals and stuff like that, and it fills the kids up or whatever, makes them stop screaming. But I just kind of feel it's kind of child abuse.
There's two ways to it. It's one, it's laziness, you know, because you instead of like doing the right thing.
Again, I don't have children,
You know?
but he does.
Yeah.
He does.
So like with my kids, I pretty much didn't have soda in the house growing up. Candy, we don't like do that, chips and
Yeah.
that shit. Like, but you know, I was coaching football, multiple teams. I work full time. You know, I'm going to college, so I'm doing
Yeah.
this. So sometimes, like, motherfuckers, know what you eating? Nuggets. Like, that's the only thing I can get. But every time I go to McDonald's, they make me wait in the first place. Like,
I mean, I think I would probably pizza before
well,
McDonald's.
see, pizza's
but
really
so you
bad,
make, but you can
too.
make it.
Well, you can make your own pizza. So it comes to
I mean, you can
choices.
make it.
So, like, when he was born, I was like, first parent, you know, so like, I'm not giving this kid a pacifier. That ain't gonna happen, right? No
yeah, but his
pacifier.
teeth are straight.
All my kids have braces. So
What? And you should have just given him the pacifier.
well,
then.
so well, my point is, as we left the hospital, he's like whining and stuff, and I hear him crying and crying and crying, and I'm fucking fun. I was like, put my finger in his mouth, and he shut up. I'm like, that's it. We're going to Target right now.
Oh, you did get him the pacifier.
I did, but
and that's
but,
why.
But I always move through pacifier, sippy cup. I get rid of all that stuff, get him to a regular cup,
It's
so
too
when
late.
sucking.
Gave him the pacifier.
Yeah, but yeah, see, at first you start off with
See
like
this?
not doing
No
it.
pacifier.
Oh yeah, these are all. I knocked all my teeth out.
No,
My teeth are
no.
fake.
My mom just said, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
That was it.
No, it was. At first, I was like, so you start one way, and then you start to veer, and you try to make the right choices. He's healthy, you know. But did we get McDonald's?
He
sometimes?
lived.
Yeah.
Hey, he lived. That's all that matters. You know, understand that my mom's her only like, she's not exactly the world's best parent with me, but she's like, I just want to get you to graduated, 18, not pregnant.
Oh, that's an awesome goal. Yeah.
Just graduate from school, because my mom had me really young, so
Yeah.
she, you know, clearly wasn't thinking when she was younger.
Yeah.
So that was literally her only goal. So it's funny because we were talking about like, what do you do when you're younger? And I hear like, oh, when you snuck out. I'm like, oh, I never snuck out. Are you kidding me? My mom could smell my thoughts. I'd be afraid that she would know. And I had the fear of God and my mom, and not necessarily in that order. So I never snuck out. I never
So
snuck
did you-
out. I didn't do anything. I had no, there's also another reason my sister and I are so close, is she was my only friend.
Well, did you act out then? So after you left the house, then it was
Oh
like,
yeah, I was hanging
it's-
upside down from a pole by the
Yeah.
time I was 19. I was
Yeah.
like, ah!
Yeah, see,
Look at me.
my parents are stoners, and then my sister was 7 years ahead of me. She got in trouble for everything. So the time it came to me, they're like, "Good luck, dude."
Yeah.
Like, they would just leave the house and be by myself. So when I did everything wild up until I graduated high school, and then after that, I was like, "Okay, I'm calm down."
Yeah, I am. You know, even when the things that some people would be considered wild. When I was younger, like a lot of people go, oh, like when I was 19, I I was a dancer. This is when we called them dancers and not sex workers. I honestly don't know how I feel about that whole label. I'm like,
Why they call them sex workers now?
they call them sex workers now. I know many girls that are
That's too
they are
optimistic for
dancers,
guys.
and they're like they throw themselves in with the sex workers, and the thing is, I don't have a problem with sex workers. I support sex workers. I think it should be legal. It's your own body. I think they should have health care.
Test it.
But when I was a dancer, there was no sex of any kind happening.
Yeah.
So I don't consider myself a sex worker.
Yeah.
I also don't consider, well, you're giving a sexual dance. So I also, it was implied that I had sex with Vince Vaughn in Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
That's not pornography to me. It's a movie.
Yeah.
So I'm also not a porn star. You know, it's just very like,
It's erotic entertainment.
it's weird. I don't know. I was dancing.
But
There was
sex
no
workers gives
se-
a guy like optimistic opportunities. Motherfucker, there's no sex for you, bro.
No, but I also feel maybe it's just a generational thing. I personally don't like that word for exotic dancers.
No.
Unless I mean, I don't know, but also different towns have different things going on. You go up to San Francisco, I think that might apply. San Francisco has very loose laws
Maybe.
on what goes down. But then, you go to San Diego and it's bikini bars. So it's like, how do you, I don't know. I just don't like it. That's just me. Kind of goes back to what you were talking about with female comics, talking about what the sex stuff upsets you. I don't think it upsets me if it's funny. What I personally just don't like, I don't like anything that has to do, and this is just my personal thing. If you are a female comic and you want to talk about it, do you, girl? I don't like bodily fluids. I don't want to hear someone talk about shit. I don't want to hear them talk about their fucking menstrual cycle. I don't know why every girl thinks we're women and we're going to make them listen to our menstrual cycle and our yeast infections. I'm like, please fucking don't. Yeah. Please, can I leave if you're going to do it? That is my personal thing. If people laugh when you do it, then do you, girl. But I have not seen anyone do it where the room was like, you know what? That's exactly what I needed to hear today.
Yeah.
No one. It's uncomfortable.
No.
And I am a feminist, but I literally don't want to rub your face in my menstrual cycle. Yeah, I just don't want to do it. I think it's gross.
Yeah. I don't mind, like you said, general sex talk, but like Lisa Lampanelli, like when her.
No, that's different because she's
that.
Lisa. I like old Lisa Lampanelli when she had the big hair. I've listened to it recently as she's gotten a little older. It just seems a little aggressive.
Because her jokes were like about sleeping with black guys, and then she ended up marrying a white dude.
Well, I don't care. But your life. We are not doing confession. Okay, we're not doing a confessional while we're on stage. What we're doing is taking a point of reference, either a thought we have, and our thought process is obviously based on some of our experiences. So there's that. Then also for me, I do think of a lot of things from my past that spark something funny. And yes, but what I say on stage may be based on truth. And I always tell the truth even when I lie, if you get what I mean. But it is not, I'm not literally ripping my soul out and handing it to like everything on here is in chronological order, the truth. So, I mean, I think it's fair for her to make all the jokes. I mean, obviously, I'm assuming she had many interracial relationships to base that off of. But as far as her dating or marrying a white guy, I mean, I think that's it is what it is. It's just odd, when you. What are you saying? She's soft now?
No, when you know the person.
Is that what you're saying?
So you know the person, and then like when they have the jokes, it's kind of irrelevant to their life right now. So it's like I think when you start to know people, that you start to be. You almost want authenticity of their conversations.
That is the new. I think that is
like
the
Dave
new
Chappelle.
kind. I think that is the new kind of thing of where, especially after the pandemic, where because we got so used to everyone just going online and pouring their hearts out. I mean, I don't know, what is it with your generation? You girls like to cry on TikTok. Why?
I don't know. I just use TikTok to look at
they love
funny
to do
stuff.
that. They're like, I'm crying. I'm gonna go on TikTok and tell people. I'm like,
I mean, you do get attention, so.
Yeah, but it's. I don't know. Like, maybe you should go cry to your actual friends. I don't know.
A lot of people don't have a lot of friends, to be honest. Though.
Is that what it is?
On TikTok.
Except on TikTok. I don't like having online friends, though. I think I have 0 online friends. I only have in-person friends.
Yeah.
And I think online friends are
it's more sane.
Yeah, I think it's a bad idea to have online friends, but that's always been my opinion. I know a lot of my friends have online friends, though.
And he sends me, like, from TikTok or something like that, he'll send me political memes. So, like, he's learning shit. He's like, oh, look at this.
Yeah, I mean, TikTok does have some good stuff that's quite... I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that existed. But then I see just...
dumb stuff.
And it's not necessarily... Like, I can understand someone, like, recently in the news, Lizzo.
Yeah.
She had a thing and she was on TikTok and she was just having a really awful day. And that I can understand. And here's why. I put my little hair thing away that I'm playing with too much. Here's why. Is Lizzo has made a song that women respond to, people of all walks of life respond to, and she's always so positive. And even with people body shaming her, she's positive. And she's just like, I love myself as I am. And so I feel like that might be a bit of a pressure to always present that you are always in a good mood and you're always looking at the best. She's a human being, and there are days when she's like, you know, I feel like fucking shit, and I feel like I don't have any friends, and I feel like everyone sucks, and I have no. And then she probably feels guilty. She's like, I have a great life. I don't even know why I feel like this, but I feel like this, and that is 100% normal. So for her, I feel it might be good for the general public to see. Yeah, I think these thoughts just like everybody else, and all that means is that I'm normal. So if you're doing this, you're normal.
Yeah.
Now, for somebody who's 15 years old and their obsession is pretending they're a celebrity, they are not a celebrity, you're just a regular kid, but you should be talking to your parents or your actual friends, not putting it online, just because that could really backfire. And I don't think that's really good for your mental health. I don't, you know, because what if it backfires? What if it backfires? You know what I mean? Like, or, you know, I never had, I was saying to someone that I was never bullied in high school, and she goes, that means you were the bully. I'm like, no, it just means I had so many home problems. I probably didn't notice if I was being bullied.
Yeah.
But, I hear that the girls are awful these days. They're pretty wicked. They're mean, vicious little knips now. Like, they literally are so mean. Like, go kill yourself and all this stuff. And they write things. It's funny because I turned into my mother. My mother was so strict with me. I know if like time machine, my mother would not allow me to probably have a phone or social media. I would be one of those weird kids that didn't have anything because I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah.
My mom never let me wear jeans. I wasn't allowed to wear jeans, y'all. Jeans. It was the grunge era, and I couldn't wear flannels. Like, and my mom made me just very preppy, just because she wanted to make me as unattractive as possible. Yeah, so I just kind of, I don't know. I don't even know what I would do if I found my daughter was being bullied. Two things would happen. Like, so first of all, we're going to tell this little bitch off.
Yeah.
Second, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. I'd be arrested. I don't even know how I would handle that, just because it's not so much of like a wedgie or like, I personally think there is, tell me if I'm wrong, you're the 17-year-old. I think in school, not that there's a place for being bullied or bullies, but there is a social ecosystem, and you have to learn how to adjust yourself in it. Because wherever you go, you're going to graduate high school and go on into the world. On some level, there will always be a bully. And if you don't learn how to address that when you're young, you will always have a problem.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of kids at my school who, like, are really, really, like, they don't understand a lot of social cues, like, type stuff. Like, they just say stuff, like, when they don't need to. And it's like, I've never been bullied, but, you know, I'd never bullied anyone either. Like, I've always been super nice to people. But when people are, like, doing stuff that's, like, blatantly, like, you know, the teacher's trying to talk and they say something really annoying and loud thinking they're funny, it's like, you know, this is a classroom. There's times to be funny, and there's always a class clown who actually is funny. But there's always that one kid who just says something that's, like, really out of time. And I'm like, can you please just be quiet for a little bit, please? Like,
is it the entitlement, or do you think it's in the home that they're just allowed to do whatever they want?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think maybe it's at the home that they're not allowed to do whatever they want. So when they get to somewhere where it's like, well, my mom's not here. What is she gonna do?
Yeah, gonna act out.
Yeah, I'm gonna say whatever I feel like. I'm gonna finally have some time to do something.
This goes back to you. I mean, I'm not saying beat your children, but one good smack. I think one good spanking, just one, because then you know the parent means business. My nephew is, gosh, how old is he? He's in high school now. He's tall. He's big. I don't even know how old. He's at least 13. He was a mouthy kid, and he was wildly funny. But he was a mouthy kid because my sister has never given him a spanking. Not once. He's gotten time. He doesn't give a fuck about a timeout. He's like, give me one. I got all day. And when he was very little, we were at brunch and he was being mouthy. And he was just acting crazy. And I'm like, you need to sit down. And he laughed. And I looked at his mom and she's like, and she looks at him and she goes, I won't spank you, but your Aunt Rachel will. But instead of being nervous, he was intrigued, and he was like, you will? He's like, you would spank me. But he was like, thought it was funny. And I was like, I will beat you like it's 1984 up in this bitch.
Yeah.
Sit down. And he laughed wildly. He thought it was the funniest thing he's ever heard. And I was like, what is that like to be a child and live with no fear whatsoever? You have no fear of a spanking. Like, no fear. Like, when your dad's going to come home and do what? Talk to me.
Yeah. No.
You know?
I always have a different way of looking at things. Like I said, my sister, she was definitely restricted, but time it came to me,
Well,
I had no rules.
Yeah, you act out as a girl. You act out
Yeah.
in other parts of your life when your parents are too strict with
So
you.
like I said, I got away with never spanking. Shit, I knew what time my parents got home and how much time I had to drive the car. Like, and then my parents were stoner, so they would like leave town for 2 weeks and just leave me by myself. It would be straight party, and they had no rules here in this town. So like, I would have a 2-week party, kegs. I had
my
a
gosh.
go-kart, like driving around. Like, it was on, and I've never gotten in trouble. But like, in my kids.
Just skip a generation, maybe.
These kids won't even cross the line ever. This is good, but like go break a rule.
Maybe
man.
maybe it does. When I watched, my mom was a wild child, so there's a lot of things that I have done vocationally are not my personality.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I get it from. It's like what I've seen, so it's easy to act those parts. But yeah, my sister totally, like, if there's 2 paths, my sister will always take the right one.
Yeah.
Every time, without fail, she always does the right thing. And so it's definitely not how we were raised. Maybe it's what we saw.
Yeah. Well, everybody's individuals. My kids will follow the same. My kids, like me, split up into 3 different spots. And like, so I've never, like, I don't have to like spank them, but Have
they ever gotten a spanking?
Oh,
Do
yeah,
you remember getting a spanking ever?
I was probably really little, but yeah, but I don't know. I'm not afraid that he's gonna like spank me or anything, especially now that I'm older.
Now you
like,
can't get a
I'm
spanking.
not
That's weird.
afraid of him like doing anything, but I have this like respect, you know, because he's my dad. I would never try and like just do something for no reason. Like I'm not gonna go in the middle of the night and knowing he has to wake up for work tomorrow and just slam a glass. I'm extra careful to do everything.
I lead by example.
Yeah,
100%. And I said I've always coached everything and been everything.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
like
That is true.
So, but you know, my other kid though, get a little mouthy. Like, we'll wrestle. I'll wrestle. You'll know. But the kids know.
Each kid has a different personality.
I'm also 6'2", 220 pounds. So they know, hey, when shit comes down, I'll pick all 3 of you fuckers up, and things will be done. You know what I mean? So I'll like my kids also like my kids don't cuss, but I'll cuss in front of my kids. I've always had music studios and bands and stuff. My friends are like, can I cuss in front of your kids? I'm like, no, I'm teaching them what to do, not keeping them from things they can't hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm teaching them the right way. So, and when it comes to my daughter, I don't know if this is right, but this has always been my mentality. I don't want to teach my daughter it's okay for someone to hit you if you were wrong and they loved you. And I might
What
be told,
does that mean?
like I said, dating a guy and the guy hits her, it's okay because he loved her.
Well,
and did something wrong.
she's too old now, but I meant like when they're little.
Yeah.
When they're little, like when your mom goes, get over here, right? You're gonna get a spanking. It should mean something.
Something, yes.
A little bit.
Something.
I'm not saying beat your kids.
No, but no, definitely.
And definitely,
Yeah.
the reason you do it is so that when they are 10, 11, you're done with it. They've developed their person. They're gonna pay attention, or they're not gonna pay attention.
They won't do that again.
But I feel, there are some miracles like what you have where they're just good. But then there's some kids, my God, and I'm like, I see their parents. I'm like, you probably had a little leash when you were a kid.
Oh, dude.
And your parents walked you on a leash and they just never really took the time to like explain anything to you. And that's why you feel you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, and just mouthy.
Yeah.
Just mouthy. It's you can tell I'm getting old when I just get so irate over just that.
Kids? These fucking kids nowadays?
No,
I need to find a place to eat.
I don't like kids my
the
age.
cadence that they speak in, the energy that you receive. I'm just like, can you rewind and say that to me like a normal person, perhaps someone that's your elder, and just small, not respect for me, respect for yourself, to not just have a chip on your shoulder all the time. It must be exhausting.
I think maybe
It must be so tiring. I live in LA too, where I think everyone's trying to be a little more grown up than they are. But I'm just like, my gosh, you must be so tired.
Yeah, I think it was
So tired carrying that little chip on your shoulder all the time.
we're slightly products of our environment. And I always talk about when I grew up, I was kind of raised by TV. Like when cable came at first, MTV. I'm 45, about in July I'll be 45. So, grunge area. I know exactly when you're born. But anyways, I researched it. So anyways, grunge area. I know you're a big Nirvana fan.
Yeah.
I taught myself guitar. Nirvana. That's when I learned how to play every Nirvana song. I have owned every Nirvana single ever in my life. Big fan. But don't know where I was going with that. So I like
you
Nirvana.
just wanted me to know that you can play guitar and it's Nirvana.
Yeah, yeah. That's the worst thing about tattoos. How many people see this tattoo and they're like, "You play guitar?" I'm like,
Yes.
"Yeah." What the fuck? You think I just get a random I actually own this fucking guitar. Like,
Well, maybe you were in love with someone who played a guitar.
yeah. Well, here's another question.
Maybe
I was
just
asking you.
maybe just like Eric Clapton.
Yeah. So like, I play music and I tend to not like. The two things I never would do was I hate to write a song for somebody because it's almost like, okay, well, that song's dedicated to that person, and relationship didn't work out. Like you stole something from you stole something. Like my art is really passionate, so like when I play guitar, and if I wrote a song about you, I'll never play that song ever again. But also, I don't like to have songs with people like, oh, that's our song, and then the song comes on, like I fucking hate that song. So you being in movies and in growing up in the last 5-10 years in Hollywood, can you see films the same way? Is there certain films that may have been or people that you're like, I'm not going to watch that anymore?
No,
I'm petty.
I'm quite petty. I think I often joke that lately I'm just dead inside. It has its perks, and one of it is I just don't have the emotional space to give a shit about a lot of things. Yeah, I mean, no, I'm fine with everything. I mean, as far as like people I've dated that are in movies, I've never had a relationship. I've had one relationship where it's so poorly that it's not that I hate the person, we just don't talk.
Yeah.
But other than that, like, I'm literally friends with every ex I've ever had.
Were you married before? You
haven't heard my stand.
I looked all over for your stand.
I'm very protective of it. I kind of feel like how when you're pregnant you don't tell people until like a certain amount of time. I feel like the same thing for stand up. I just feel like I shouldn't post my stand up until after I've done it for like 5 years or 6 years or something like that. I do on my TikTok. I post cats and crowd work. That's it. And so you won't really hear the setup joke. Yeah. You just hear like some crowd work, or if somebody heckle. I don't get heckle. I don't consider it a heckle if it's funny. So I put stuff. It's amazing how mean people are on TikTok though. They're quite vicious. Yeah. And there's little wars going on. Like, she can take a joke. No, she sucks. And she should stop doing stand-up. And I'm like, if I stopped doing everything that anyone told me I didn't have the talent to do, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. Yeah.
You know who Adam Carolla is?
Yeah, I used to work for him.
Yeah, well, Adam Carolla has... I forgot you're on the man show. I've seen that. Anyways, Gina Grad, that's his girl on there. And if you go on there, she's been on there forever. You know what I mean? She does a great job. But if you go to any comments, there's... half of them are fuck Bald Brian and fuck Gina Grad. You know what I do though for TikTok? And because I realize they're all either younger or I'll look and it's like people set up bots just to write nasty things, which I think is funny. I'm like, so much time on your hand. You could actually get a job. That's adorable. Yeah. They have 0 posts. What's it like to have all this extra time? I've burnt the fuck out. I am tired as shit all the time because I'm trying to do so many things. And I like every single comment because the algorithm doesn't know that you're being mean to me. It just sees that I have engagement. So thank you. Oh, thank you. There's one video in particular. I just need you to invite 4,000 more of your friends to hate it and leave a comment. That'd be great. Heck yeah. That's your assignment. Go find some friends to hate me.
I love it.
Yeah, lovers and haters are all close.
I don't care. It's an algorithm.
Yeah.
The algorithm doesn't know that you're being mean.
Yeah, go ahead and watch.
Doesn't matter what you say, and I will you can say you suck and you should die. Great, thank you. I'll like it. I don't care because it really doesn't mean anything to me because I think, and then again, when I was going back to your generation, I'm like, God, if I were a 15, 16-year-old girl though, that would break me.
Yeah.
That would be so devastating because even 20-something. I mean, I was very. I joke that I'm dead inside, but by nature I am a very sensitive person. I think that's probably why I have to joke about certain things, just to get over it or get through it or make it better or put it away. But when I was 30, I was super sensitive and I took things really hard. That's why I didn't like TMZ because I made the mistake of reading the comments once and I was like, oh my God. And it really did not do wonders for my mental health at all.
No.
I was already in a bad place and it just made it worse. And then I was like, I will never read comments again. Now with social media, unfortunately, you have to engage. You have to have engagements. You have to respond to people. It can't just I used to not do it. I used to just let them all pile up. And someone was like, your engagement sucks. You have to respond to people. I'm like, what?
Oh, see, I'm bad.
What do you mean? If you want to, the goal is not to have a regular job for me. Because I had one. I ran a business for 9 years. I fucking hated it. It's great because now I know I can run one. Don't want to do it. It's kind of like being married. I know I can be married, but don't want to do it again. The goal is money, right? Unless I don't need this much attention. I really don't. No. I'm good. Yeah. I've had a lot of attention in my lifetime. I don't really need it. But for a job and to be booked and to do stuff, you need to engage with people. Yes. I even for stand up, I'm not the best comic. But whoever hires me knows that I'm really good at promoting myself. And therefore I'm really good at promoting your show. I'm really good at promoting your venue. And that does carry a little bit of weight. Now, Obviously, if I go and I'm fucking terrible, they're like, never hire that girl again. So it's always a work in progress. But, you do have to you kind of have to pay attention to people. So I don't know if I'd be able to have TikTok if I weren't mentally okay.
Yeah, I'm really bad at comments. My kids will catch me all day. I'll be fucking just bashing people. I'm really good at it, and I'll go I'll look at people.
But it gives him power, though.
I'm just funny. You know what I mean? So I use that.
Is he funny or does he think he's funny?
I think he's funny most of the time.
You have such good kids. Your kids are the best.
Yeah, but like I said, I get a kick out of it. So it's like crowd work. You know what I mean? You want to engage with me? Oh shit! I'm like, I'm real clever. So it's like you say, class clown. I was doing class clown shit really. So to the point where I have people like Tito Ortiz. He's blocked me. He's banned me for sure. Sam Tripoli, I hate his guts. He's blocked me. Facebook, I think I finally got back on Facebook. They banned me.
I hate Facebook.
I was off for 2 years. I got on for 2 weeks. Got banned.
Facebook. I only have to have Facebook for work. I don't even think it's kind of like people look at it. They never respond to anything anyway.
No.
It's literally for people that have kids. It's no
Look
offense.
At my kids.
No offense.
Look at my kids.
No offense. But for me, I'm just this is so boring. I don't care about your sonogram. I don't care about your political views. I don't want to see the GoFundMe for your dying pet. I don't want to see any of this shit.
Your fucking
it's
birthdays.
So, yeah, I don't care about your birthday. I
don't care.
The only reason I have it is I have to because there's a lot of promoters that love to communicate through DMs and face. I'm like, can you just call me? But yeah, and then so you have to. But Facebook, there's a lot of angry people on Facebook. Just
Joe Rogan one time said
they fight on it. They're so and it's not even kids. At least with TikTok, it's you're good for you. I mean, you're being a shit, but your thought process is right where it's supposed to be. Your brain is this big still, and you have so much room to grow.
Act it out.
You don't even know what you believe yet because it's ever changing. It should be. Yeah. It should be.
Should be growing.
At least you have a strong opinion about something instead of just I just go with what everyone else says. At least that's good. You're not my kid, so there. But on Facebook, it's people our age and older just being nobody raised you. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, I have friends all the time. They post
What
like
the
the most
heck?
ridiculous stuff. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
you have kids. I'll tell them, like, I tried to, whatever I do, I got to make sure I be able to tell my son, this is what I did and this is what I said. If I can't do that,
Yeah.
then obviously I'm doing something wrong. Obviously there's something, but you know what I mean. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So when people are coming conversations like, what are you doing, bro? What's going on? Like,
You need a hug.
I will
Yeah.
have back and forth with people, but like when people just straight calling like names and stuff, like not even
People
clever.
get nasty.
Get clever, bro.
Not to me, really, because I am very indifferent about things. But I also don't really poke the bear with a lot of things. Someone asked me once, like, what's the only topic that you will not speak on for stand up? Obviously, we've discussed that. I won't discuss bodily fluid. I just think it's disgusting. But if someone, if it was like, I have to, I'm like, all right, I guess this is what we're talking about. Politics. I will not discuss politics as a joke, because one, I think you should speak on things and I don't know enough about everything about politics.
Yeah.
And you think you know something because of how you were raised, how you feel, what your morals are, how you vote. But then there's always some person's like, excuse me, actually you're wrong.
Yeah.
You could take the most pure thing in the world and someone will find some horrible thing that one person did 200 years. I'm just like, oh my God, no matter what I say, it's wrong. So I'm just like not going to say it. And also in Southern California, I think it's a cheap joke, because it's like, oh, let me guess what we could do. We could make fun of Trump again.
Yeah,
we can make fun of Republicans one more time, because that's just so original. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
I'm so over it. I'm so done. If I have one more, I'm almost done. I'm almost really sick of the coronavirus pandemic jokes as well. I'm just over it.
Don't tell me what you were doing at your
done.
place. Yeah, I've seen enough comics, and like in the last 30 days, I've seen so much stand up, and I've done a little bit of stand up myself. And your be original. I got in trouble at the time I was watching.
Unfortunately, people really do think they are original, and that's. I've seen many a comic with like the same kind of joke, and like, you stole my joke. I'm like, no, it's just very possible for multiple people to have the same shared circumstance. You twat.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm cussing so much in front of your kids.
He's used to it. I listen to gangster rap all the time.
I play video games.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And that's a lot of these jokes are unclever. And then, I'm amazed when I hear someone actually on stage tell a joke that is not their joke. Like, it's already a joke.
I've heard 4 different male comics talk about how all women in Los Angeles are witches because of their social media. Like, we all have crystals and we all think we're witches. Oh. Now, I don't say anything to them because it's not my monkey, not my circus.
You just put a curse on them and walk away.
Exactly. Actually, anybody listening, that is the phrase of freedom. Not my monkey, not my circus, or not my circus, not my monkey. You can choose to say it either way. Yeah. But it has saved me so much heartache and so much headache, because I used to really, because I kind of overcare / stick my nose in people's business.
Engaged.
With personal stuff. And then I give and I give, and then I feel taken advantage of. I feel like, how dare you? Or it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you're invested.
I'm very invested, and I'm like, I've done this. Let me give you the Cliff's Notes on how this is, and then they go and do the stupid thing anyway, and I get pissed off. Mostly that's a control issue.
Yeah, I do that.
But someone taught me that, like, it is not your job to shepherd every person you meet down this path.
No.
It really, which I grew up being told that is not the case. It is my job. It is my job, if you see someone suffering, to help them. I don't really know what I feel. I just kind of play it out. I think
it's one of those things, you can lead the horse to water, you can't make him drink.
Yeah, it's really hard. As I get older, I get less patience for a lot of things. But that phrase, she's like, not my circus, not my monkey.
Yeah.
I'm like, but what if it is my circus? Like, it's a boyfriend. He's like, he ain't your husband.
Yeah.
He's not your child. The only person you should do that for is your child.
Now you
It is your only child, and only up until a certain point, because they're their own person.
Yep.
You can't make them do anything that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
So that was like the biggest lesson that if I could ever teach anyone, just like mind your business and you will live a happy life.
You may on a job site, every crew is like a group of 10 guys, and there'll be like 200 electricians, and then 1,000 guys on a job site. How much drama happens amongst these men? Oh my God, it's so ridiculous. I used to tell them when I was running the guys, I said, look, I just coached 100 kids in football, and they are less childish than you fucking guys. What is going on here? You guys are out of control. But I always tell these people, like, you have two options in life. Kind of the same story you say is like, you see a show and a dinner. They have a show and dinner. Sometimes the people will interact with them. It's your choice to interact. If you don't want to be part of that show, just sit back and watch the show. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. Like, I'm always used to be like, interact, like, oh, shit's going down. Let's go see what's going on. I'm involved in it, and I laugh. Like, I used to work out of town. I went to Costco with, by airport. So 3 people from China came there, and they wanted to go to Costco. So I went to Costco with these 3 ladies from China. I had nothing else to do. Why not? Let's go for a fucking ride, I should have just let them have their own show, and watched it. But I got involved. So, it's your choice what you want to get involved in. Yeah,
I'm very not engaged with a lot of things lately. Let's talk about the pandemic. I think there's I worked through a lot of issues with my anxiety and stuff like that, and obviously because you've seen my body of work, I can get out of the house and do things, and I'm a functioning human. And then this happened, and so when it happened, I was like, oh, I love being, I don't have to leave the house. Amazing. And I was really like thriving. And then there just got up to a point where I just got too used to not being around people, not really having to engage. And it's a problem. I would say that's the problem now is trying to like
reacclimate,
because it is different. I think I was probably doing too much before, because I had a full-time job. I was managing other people. I was still going for auditions. I was still acting a little bit. I was still doing stand-up. I was newer at stand-up, so it's like you really try extra hard when you're new. And I was doing shows. And I honestly, now I'm like, how did I do all that stuff? Because I do one thing, and I'm like, whoo, I am tired. Time to celebrate me. I did one thing. And I don't know if that's healthy or not healthy, or what the heck's going on, because I think it's maybe, I hate to say everything's a generational thing, but like my employees are all in their 20s, and so they really do celebrate the most pedestrian of things that they do. And I'm like, why are you celebrating that? And they're like, you're too hard on things. And I'm like, that's why things get done. Somebody has to. So I really don't know which is more healthy. The thing of like, I have to do this, let's just do it. And that's a productive thing. But I think maybe our generation was brainwashed that we have to be overproductive, and we have to always be like, if we're not doing 20 things, we're a loser. If we didn't go to college, even if you didn't want to go to college, if we didn't say, as long as you're city college, do something.
Keep working, bust your butt, do
but
something.
If we weren't, we were lazy, we were losers. If you're not first, you're last. And so that's why I work so hard, is because it's in my mind, it's never good enough, which is kind of good because you're always working hard. Yeah. And you don't really celebrate your wins because you're on the 2 next things. No, we grew up, like I said, it's just different. It's just different. But the world slowing down was kind of good, because I think I needed it to slow down. But then now it's starting back up again. So that's my panic now. It's like, now I don't know what to do. Getting back on the treadmill. I don't know if I want to be on the treadmill. I look at the treadmill as a hamster wheel. Like, it terrifies me. I'm like, I just want to do stand-up, and I just want to do it at my pace, and I don't want to adult. I don't want it. It's a weird thing, because I worked so hard to be normal and have a job and be self-sufficient and all this stuff, and now I just want to be like, I want to be completely responsible and do stand-up, and that's all I want to do. I don't want to do anything else. which
Well, it
is
sounds like when you got
irresponsible.
in, you were stepping up and doing the status quo and doing everything you thought that everybody else was
And
doing and doing it. And then when you got
It gets
done,
you nowhere.
well, it wasn't exactly maybe what you
I
truly
had health
wanted to do.
insurance, but I mean
Yeah.
that was the like, wow, you're grown up when you have health insurance.
Yeah. But now you get a chance to step away and actually do one thing. You actually realize what you want to
Happier.
do, what you
Well,
want
I'm
to
a lot
do.
happier, and
Yeah.
that, I think I think the younger generation they're a lot more focused on what makes them happy instead of maybe what the responsible choice is.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's right. In all honesty, at the end of the day, it is what it is. So
Yeah.
who the hell knows?
We'll find out in 20 years if shit's getting done or not, huh? Because
Um,
someone's got to work the dam. Someone's got to be a scientist. Not everybody
know,
can
it's-
work YouTube.
well, I think the younger generation, his generation, they're a little more. They got a little bit of everything because I do stand up with everyone's very young.
Yeah.
19, 20, whatever, 17 sometimes. And they just seem to adapt to things better, just faster.
Yeah.
They're, because I think because they have parents like us.
Well,
and
then
they're like,
also
I have to
life
just
is always
live-
changing.
Yeah, they're a little slow on the common sense of things sometimes, but just because our brains just work different. Like when I say a phrase, it's not relevant anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's your dime. What the heck does that mean?
Yeah.
Well, back in the olden days, we
Yeah.
used to have telephones, and you put a dime in it to talk. You know what I mean? So it's like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So are the thought mentalities and stuff like that. But like, yeah, for me, I'm just like, I'm not sure if it's stay with that, like always working, or maybe just surrender to not everything has to be done today. But then it's also a trap.
100%.
If you're like, oh well, if you put everything off to tomorrow, you might not get it tomorrow.
Yep.
So it's just a weird.
Why put off tomorrow what you can do today?
It's yeah. Except for I can get a lot done in a day,
Yeah.
and then I'm exhausted, and then I do the thing where I don't have time for interactions
Yeah.
with people. People freak me the fuck out. They scare me. People scare me. It's funny. They're like, oh, you're a certain way. I'm like, no, I'm terrified. If you ever see me somewhere and I'm looking at you like with resting bitch face, it's not being mean to you. I'm literally just trying to like, is this what a normal human does? This is what humans do, right? They make this face when they're out, because I'm literally just melting inside.
I snuck up on you in the parking lot. when I was
Oh, I was about to punch your dad. I was like, don't ever do that again. I said I'd put a bell on him.
there. That's the first thing she told me.
Yep.
Happy thoughts.
Yeah. We're going to put a bell on you like a cat.
Well, I was thinking the newer generation, saying even like TikTok is, they're quick videos over and over again. So they're seeing new things over and over again, refreshed. I
mean, I will say it definitely has. I have ADD as well, but it works for my attention span. But it's made it can. I think. I don't know. I feel like maybe we should start making them watch long films or something, because the brain is a muscle and it does what you teach it to do.
Yes.
And eventually, at some point, what if everything shuts down and we're all dead? All the old people are dead, and all these young kids are there, and like they can't think of things
Who's going to move the camera?
past a minute and whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
will they carry long relationships on because everything's so short?
I think they will, and here's why: is because everyone I know that's younger, they're not really jumping into these. They're not like us. We watched
Definitely not like me.
we watched too many '80s movies where happy endings existed.
At 4, I was dressed like Fonzie making out with my neighbor at 4.
So I feel like they're more cautious.
Yeah.
I think when you see like people getting married, they're not getting married at super young ages anymore.
I don't know if it's the plastic in the food or whatever it is, but
They're not really dying to have kids right away. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no.
it's not that thing where like little girls. Very rarely am I hearing. Maybe it's just the people I hang out with. Very rarely am I hearing. All I want to do is be like a Barbie, or all I want to do is be married, and I can't wait to be married and have babies. Nobody really says that too much anymore.
My kids don't hear that. My girls,
They don't really say that
they can't
stuff
have,
too much anymore.
They can't have sex until they're 70, and they can't get married until 79. So I joke around with it all the time.
Yeah,
but
good luck with
yeah,
that.
it's going to be what it is. I have no control, but I'm scared of it. Anyways, Yeah, no, my kids are not sexualized like I am. They, obviously they like girls and everything. They, my son's had
I'm
a
sure
girlfriend.
he loves you saying this on air.
He's had a girlfriend. He's been on dates. He went from, it's funny because like he went from like this, just being a normal kid doing his own thing, and me, dad. I think I was single at the time. I'm like, hey, check this chick out. I'm like, blah blah. He's like, Dad, don't do that. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah, it's a little weird.
he's like, well, I'm just trying to see like which way you going, really. You know what I mean? This is like being dad things because like, there was no
Do
interest.
kids pick a side anymore?
Well, yeah. Like,
I don't think they even pick a side anymore.
Well, it'd be surprised how many kids in the
No, I actually, I mean, I don't even see anything wrong with that because you don't. I mean, when you're young, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, no, my kids like what they
Whatever.
like, but there are so many kids that are confused in school that are. That, like I said, my kids will tell me, yeah, well, this year she was gay, and this year the person's got gay and transgender and blah blah.
But that's why I am older. So,
Let them be what they want.
but I think just why don't listen. It doesn't matter if she says she's a rutabaga today. Let her say it. Leave it alone. Just let her say whatever the heck she wants. If she doesn't want to be a rutabaga anymore, then she doesn't. If she decides she's an asparagus the next day, then be an asparagus. It's not like really our place to. They're kids. Just let them do what they're gonna do.
I think society today, I always talk about this.
Everyone's so obsessed with like, and there were. I think it's also in a way that we shouldn't pressure little boys to be little boys or little girls to be little girls. I'm like, you are what I say you are until you tell me that you're not. If you're a 4-year-old child, then you're gonna, you know what I mean. Until you verbally say to me that this is making you uncomfortable, then I'm not. I think it's ridiculous. People are like, you shouldn't give you're gendering your child. I'm like, yeah, because it has a penis. So it's technically a boy until it tells me it's not.
Yeah.
So there's that, but also at the same time, like, I went to college. So can you imagine if my college days, I'm only limited to women for the rest of my life now because I've declared it? That's just silly. So I kind of understand why it's like I approve of the whole gender, like, none of your damn business. It's none of your business. It's none of your business.
It's irrelevant to everything else.
It's irrelevant. Also, they're children. Why are adults so obsessed with the sexual what they're thinking of sexually?
That's what I was talking about.
That's so bizarre and weird. That's so weird of adults to do. I'm like, it's
like,
none of your business.
When they were bitching about the Scouts letting girls in, I'm like, at the first of all,
they have Girl Scouts.
Well,
why don't they toughen up the Girl Scouts a little bit?
There's two things. One, the Boy Scouts already had something like 30,000 girls already in there. So it's been happening for a long period of time. Because you can imagine if like a guy who is a Boy Scout, then he happens to have 3 girls.
Why can't it just be an extra thing? Like, why can't I have? What if some girl did Girl Scouts and simultaneously did Boy Scouts? Like, yeah, I lettered in both, bitch.
They can.
Like, why can't why?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't see there's anything wrong with that.
And the Scouts realized, why are we actually cutting out half of our demographic? Why don't we just open more funding? And then also they had all this child molestation with the boys, so like let's also counteract that. But also, neither of the Scouts have anything to do with dicks, pussies, or anything. They're not sword fightings. There's no like. There's no irrelevant to like sexuality.
I cringed a little bit when you said that. I was like, whoa.
That's another joke we're not allowed to say on stage.
Whoa.
But I'm saying it's like there's no like there's no sexuality based into these.
There's
Scouts.
a lot of sexuality. There's a lot of. I think Girl Scouts. There is a lot of.
And Girl Scouts.
Yes, and Girl Scouts were taught. You're just taught different things. I that's why I'm saying, why can't you expand it?
Yeah.
There's no reason the girls, you don't just have to make cookies and sell cookies and
the reason why the girls didn't do it.
Like, why can't you do the same things?
Well, the reason why the Girl Scouts didn't expand it because the Boy Scouts got there first. They were smarter. Like, oh fuck, we're gonna.
No, it's just because nobody wanted to teach it.
And,
like I've done all these things. You would have to have a woman that knew what she was doing to teach these things.
Yeah, you have to have definitely a mentor of some sort.
Yeah.
Like, when you go there, there's a. I said my kid did Scouts for a little bit, and so I can imagine if there was a dad who had only girls, he still wants to do Boy Scouts. He won't do Girl Scouts because obviously the girls probably wouldn't be happy with the dad showing up for all these girls.
You never know, though. I mean, you never know. I think.
But if it's Girl Scouts, he couldn't teach them those things.
No, but you could do. I don't think there's anything like. I know many men that cook.
Oh, I cook like crazy. I'm Mexican.
So I think, especially in this day and age where there's not always two parents in the home. I think the old days it would definitely cause the scene if a man was like teaching little girls how to do stuff. I don't think it's so weird now, and I think that there's, with so many broken homes, it might be refreshing to have one positive male role model at a young age. Now, when they're older, maybe that's different, but like I think kids are really it's really important when they're born to 10 years old. Maybe 8. The corners on their own. They've already decided what they want to do by the time they're 10. It's really important to like that's their personality.
Yeah.
That's everything that happens. Whether you realize that they know everything they see, smell, hear. It goes into this bank. Yeah. It goes in there, and that is what is developing the nurture part of them, and it comes out the weirdest times, but it's all there. Like you don't even remember the things you saw. But you've seen them. Yeah. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with a male person like talking about baking or cookie sales or whatever. Like that, I think that's an issue. A lot of people don't have positive male role models, men, boys and girls. You know, or if there's a single household, like the mom's working her ass off because there is no dad. So it's like almost like, you know, she's spread so thin, like I have to be everything. Yeah. And sometimes you just need that. I mean, I had so many male. My mom got married a lot. So, but, you know, there were some that stuck in there, and I was really happy that they were around.
Yeah, learn some things. Yeah. I don't gender size too many things. My mom's Hispanic, and I grew up as a kid. I know how to sew. I cook. I painted every painting here. I built everything here.
Nice.
So I'll do everything from masculine to I'm a man, so feminine. You're going to hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? Like, you know. So I don't feminize. And then it comes to my daughter. I definitely don't want my daughter to think there's anything that she can't do. Like,
yeah,
there's
absolutely.
No chance I'm not.
I don't think they're raised that way anymore.
I don't know. My kids.
I haven't encountered I don't think that the Gen Zers, like the girls, are raised
girly.
I mean,
they'll fight it anyway.
Feminine looking, maybe, with the makeup and everything, which is too much in my opinion. But as far as the attitude of like, no, I can do everything. Yeah, it's really. I mean, it's really there. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But they should still be able to choose. Like if you're like, I don't want to do this. I really just want to. Like I think it's stupid that they don't teach home ec anymore. I don't know. They need to call it common sense classes.
What's your home ec class called?
Oh, do you have home ec?
Teen living.
Yeah, like
they brought it back.
Like a cooking class. Like,
Well, when I was young, we had it, and boys still had to take it, but it was originally more toward like managing a home. I think it should be cooking, cleaning, basic people skills, and also how to write a check.
Yeah.
We have a class just like that. It's called Teen Living in the lower grade, and it's like it encompasses. You learn how to balance a checkbook.
Oh, good.
You learn how to cook, clean. They have they have 2 laundromat areas where you learn to do laundry.
So that way, when you're on your own, you're not like, oh shoot, I don't know how to do anything. I know adult people that are billionaires that have an assistant. They've always had an assistant. Yeah. They do not know. I had to show them. They don't know how to write a check. I had an employee. She probably hates it every time she hears me tell this story because she's very grown up now. But I had her, since she was 19, 18, and she was my desk girl. And I we had to send something to somebody, and I kind of put it down. I was like, go in the system, find the person's address, mail this out. She looked at me. She said, okay. She just said, okay. And then I went to lunch, and then I came back, and I see the thing still sitting there. So I was like, hey, so when I ask you to do a task, there's kind of a 20-minute clock on it. And she was like, okay. And she just looked terrified. And I was like, what? Yeah. What is, I thought I hurt her feelings again. I'm like, did I say that too harshly? I'm like, what? And she's like, I don't know how to write an envelope. And I was like, what the heck planet did you grow up on, kid? You don't know how to write it. She had no clue. Yeah. No clue. I'm like, you never wrote a letter to Santa Claus. Mickey Mouse, the president. Nothing. You've seen mail. Clearly you get mail. If you've ever looked how it looks, you don't know. You don't know. To me, I was like, well, why didn't you get some of our mail and say, how does this work, and figure it out? Like that. That's what I mean about the common sense thing.
Yeah.
Is not the like, maybe I should figure it out.
Initiative.
Drives me nuts. Not his generation, it's the damn millennials.
Yeah.
But like, but at the same time, I'm like, you knew I was going to be unpleased. Why didn't you just ask somebody? Anybody. Call your mom. I don't care. And she's just really... And then she goes, we just don't do that. And then she was done. She was done with the conversation.
That was it.
And she's like, we send emails. I'm like, okay. I walked to my office, and then I couldn't stand it anymore. And I was like, oh, okay. This is not... I will come out. And she looked at me and goes, no, because she knew.
Yeah.
I'm like, get out an envelope. And she goes, come on. I'm like, no. I'm sorry. As a woman and as a human being, I cannot let you not know how to write an envelope, because let's say the world ends and we go back to the Pony Express, you're going to need to know how to do this.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's to asshole on Fuckhead Lane, as long as the address is somewhat right
You
and
might
the
get
zip
married.
code, you might, you know what I mean? It'll get there.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of like, let's say you misspelled the city, but the zip code is right. It'll still get there.
You'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out. And she was just like, she was so upset. So upset.
Had to handwrite something.
Oh,
annoying.
yeah. She was like, what is this? They don't know. And like, now you're going to have to go find a stamp.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to figure out how to mail it. And she goes, what? And I'm like, just think of it as a little adventure.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
It's
However, you know, I don't know. I only just recently learned how to open many things and documents. So, you know, it's a trade-off of what we know. I have to often call a younger person, like, how does this work? I don't know. I keep pushing the buttons. Like, you don't have to kill the button. I'm like, the swiping, the new, like, those. Okay, that's when I show my age, because I do the mom thing where I
push
hit the one finger and it's this far away. It's really bad. Yeah, I do that. And that's why I always out myself. I'll be like hang out with younger people. I'm like, maybe she's 30 or whatever, and then I'll do something like that. I'm like, oh no.
I'm fucked up.
Yeah, she's older. She's a lot older.
Last year I've been doing this. Be like, oh, you need glasses. I'm like, oh fuck, I do need glasses. It's bullshit.
You should get glasses because you're only ruining your eyes.
I know. I have insurance. And I'm one of those guys.
And you have insurance. Why don't you just get LASIK?
I am.
Oh,
I
come
am
on.
super busy, dude. Like, so my normal day. I've been off for 2 or 3 weeks now, but I literally wake up at 2:30. I leave the house at 2:45.
Yeah.
I drive to San Jose.
Yeah.
I work 8-10 hours. Then I would drive home, be home at 6:30.
Yeah.
Do family shit, podcast, record, do everything else.
Yeah.
And that would be my life, like every day.
Yeah, all of that can wait
But no,
24 hours so you can
everybody
get
tells
fucking
me,
LASIK.
yeah.
And also, you're going to be right back on the horse.
So that's what I'm going to do.
I know too many people that have had... You kind of look like a vampire from Twilight for a few days, but you're good.
Yeah. I think I said Thursday I'm getting my shoulder done. I think that's what I'm going to do is I'm hitting things up. I'm getting blood work and, you know, I'm going to get my eyes fixed and all. I finally have downtime. I stopped life for a little bit. So
Yeah. You have to do it because at our age, you have to fix it when it breaks.
Yeah. It's bullshit to work. I have to
You
read
got to fix
prints.
it when it breaks.
And that's what I told the guy. He's like, we can probably give you a cortisone shot. I'm like, no. Just, I don't have playoffs next week. Fix it so I can live the rest of my life, you know?
Yeah. Well, I feel like also after a certain age, you don't fix it. It's just pain management at that point.
Oh, that's what it's been.
Because it's not fixed. It's not going to get any better.
Yeah.
I have fibromyalgia, and so when people are like, "What's your pain level?" I'm like, I don't even know. I'm always in pain.
Yeah, I get you.
So I to the point where I just don't notice it anymore. So
heard a guy pushing vitamin D oil today for fibromyalgia.
But here's the thing: is no one really knows why you get it.
Yeah.
And there was no real cure for it. There's a lot of. It's just. I mean, my mom has it. I don't know. Again, no one knows why you get it. But my mom also is a hypochondriac, so it's really hard. So anything that she can get a medication for that she thinks she needs, she'll take.
Yeah.
I have heard many people have read things where it's stress or it's over medicating. drug use, just a wild lifestyle. It just catches up to you. Who knows what it actually freaking is? I just know that my skin hurts and my bones feel like, when you're a little kid and you're growing.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
So just and out of nowhere, things hurt. So, who knows? I've always had people take this, take that. I'm like, you know what I need? I just need a whole new body. Is what I need. I I'm ready for the clones. I would just like to breed a clone, take my personality, put it back into the clone. Like I'm ready for science fiction stuff right now. Eon Flux. That's what I need. Just a whole new spine.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for knowing what I'm saying when I say
Fly.
that.
I've seen the commercial a million times.
Thank
Liquid
God.
TV.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Sometimes I say stuff like, that's how I out myself too. They're like, what are you saying? You know what it is. You look like you have access to the internet.
Yeah, but I'm a little too young.
Okay. Well, you know what I'm saying though I guess they made a movie.
You know what Eon Flux is?
No.
But he's in a little bit of kind of, it's not really Japanese anime, but
yeah.
it's kind of
I like everything though. Like she was talking about long films earlier, and like I love long films. I enjoy TikTok with the small form factor, but I also do enjoy watching the really long, drawn out with a long story type thing. And another thing was, you'd actually be really surprised with how bad people my age are at like something which I say this all the time, I thought was taught a lot, context clues. Like when I have a problem, I try and look everything up before I ask the internet or I look up anything. I just look at what other people are doing, or like I would have picked up the letter, how our letter written.
a little initiative.
Try to figure it out.
Yeah, context clues is something I always say, like I thought we were taught, but I guess not.
No. The common sense is not that common.
No common sense and no
you
initiative.
just were brought up in a household where you were raised right. Some people are coddled.
We'll see, yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah,
I think some people are coddled. It's funny. My mom, I don't know why she did this to me, because I wanted chores when I was a little kid, because I don't know, that's what normal kids had. And my mom, mind you, I had to watch my sister like all the time. But as far as like chores, like cleaning things, my mom's response to that was like, you'll have to clean when you're older, so why do it now? And so which case I was like, I guess I don't have to do shit.
Yeah.
And then when I got older, I made money, so I got to be like, it took me a while before I had to like, I have to be an adult by myself, mainly because I made money so I could pay someone else to do it.
Yeah.
But it was rough when I had to figure things out for myself, because there's many things I could do that were extraordinary. Like, not even an actor, singer, whatever. You work on that. But little things like basic knowledge of how to do shit, I had no clue, because I'd always had someone do it for me.
Yeah.
So that is another reason why I try to like really, anyone that works for me that's younger, I'm like, no, you have no idea the shame of when you're 30 years old, sitting there crying that you don't know how to do something that the rest of the world, I didn't know how to send an email, because I'd never had to do it for myself. And then I had to be like, oh my God, how do you even turn on this computer thing? Like, someone bought me, I had a boyfriend that bought me a laptop, and he's like, this is called a laptop. You must use it on your own. I cannot do your work for you. I'm like, what? What do you mean?
Can you pay someone to do that?
Well, yeah. So it's like, after a while, it's like you can't stop having assistants because it's very expensive. But yeah. So, but that's why I'm like trying, like, because they were like, I don't want to do it. I'm like, but you're a receptionist.
Yeah.
Like, it's not out of your scope. You need to do that, because I know what it's like when people look at you like you're crazy and something's wrong with you, because like, what do you mean you don't know how to cross the street by yourself? It's just like something so basic.
Sometimes people are just on a different path, they don't get to do that.
Yeah.
I'm the total opposite. I try to learn everything possible. I've watched like 5 episodes of how it's made this morning. I'm like, oh, that's how you make a chain?
Yeah.
Maybe I can make a chain. I don't need a chain, but
I'm learning how to be tech savvy now. My best friend's living with me. She's back in the country, and she's living with me, and she's very like, I throw my hands up in the air when it comes to what you're doing. I don't know what it is. It's like a mental block. I don't want to do it, so I resist and I can't do it. Tell myself I can't do it. So I was telling you about podcasts. I just trying to figure out how to do this, because I'm just too tired of like everyone making it seem like this amazing thing that only one person can do. And that's what she said. She goes, you just have to take the time to go online and look. There's literally YouTube. Just watch it. Just have the patience to watch it. You might not get it right away, but it's not hard. You
Yeah.
just have to look for it. And I was like, she's like, there's a YouTube on how to do everything.
Yeah.
Like
I just
literally everything.
It's like scary to look at is the biggest thing. Like
Yeah.
I know how to edit, but I start using other programs, and like most of them, the biggest thing is honestly just understanding what it is, because it's like just a bunch of buttons. It's terrifying to look at.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah, it's just really overwhelming. But once you actually know, like everything's really basic.
The
There's
process
like this,
is very
yeah. It's like it builds on top of each other, and once you get the soul components, you can keep building off of that. You know?
Exactly. See, he does video editing for his school, one of the biggest schools here. They have a news network.
Nice.
I've
we
always
had that in my high school
Yeah,
too.
we won an Emmy this year. It was
Yeah.
pretty
Oh,
cool.
look at you.
getting out there.
Do you have an Emmy in your house?
No, I'm not a senior, so I don't get. The seniors won like a glass pillar. It's like this big, but it's got the Emmy etched into it. And
Nice.
if we win again next year, then I'll end up getting one of those.
Nice. My brother-in-law has one. He won an Emmy for news. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My kids are gonna be more accomplished than I am. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's how it's
the
supposed
goal.
to be.
That's
That's
the
the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal. Your kids are supposed to be better than us.
Yeah, I try to provide them with every opportunity and everything possible. And said, you can't guide your kids to be what you want them to be, except for good, hopefully. You know,
Not
but
murderers would be great.
yeah, exactly. That's
Like
my
not
own goal.
murderers. Like that's it. Just don't kill anybody,
Yeah.
or don't get caught.
Well, I always tell my kids heard me say this. Like, I don't have to teach my kid to be a kid. My kid's already a kid. I
Yeah.
need to teach him how to be a brother, a sister, a father, a person in my community. Like all those other things, I need
Yeah.
to teach my kid to be those things, and hopefully those things work out. But like, I've played music since the day they were born. I've had every instrument, everything
Yeah.
possible for my kids to play music. None of them play.
Hmm.
Like no one plays a guitar. I have drums, everything possible. My daughter can play anything, but she has no interest. Can sing like lights out, but no interest.
Yeah.
My daughter, when growing up, her
She's
mom.
not done being grown up
She's
yet.
not
And
grown-
Who knows
big
what
future.
who knows what she wants to do?
Exactly.
She could come back to it.
Yeah, I didn't play until I was like 17, so
Yeah.
she still has a future. But when she was born, her mom wasn't a girly girl, but she wore pink for 4 years straight, and then all of a sudden went black. When she wore black,
Oh,
stuff,
that's just the age.
that's who they are.
That's what they do.
You can't,
Yeah.
So like every day I had to pick out what pink outfit you want. I don't know. What you want to wear, girl.
Yeah.
So it was weird to see someone be so. They are themselves.
Yeah.
You just gotta accept it, and then try to guide them towards.
Well, it's good. It's actually I never got to talk back to my mom, but like I was reading something where if you have like a mouthy kid, it's almost good because they question. Like if they're getting in a little bit of trouble with popping up, like I don't want to do this, when they're young.
Yeah.
When they're older, it's just like a behavioral problem. When they're like really young, it's because they're questioning.
Yeah.
And they're not taking like you're an adult. It's a weird thing because as I don't really have a patient. I nannied, so I when I say I'm not that I'm not good with kids, it's just it takes so much patience, and so I don't know if I have that on an everyday basis unless I'm being paid money. So you don't get paid for having a kid, so that's why I don't have any. But like if it was mouthy, like I would just be like, oh my god, I don't even know what to do with you. You're just but apparently it's quite healthy if they're like expressing that they don't want to do something.
Skeptic and a little bit inquisitive.
Yeah, it's supposedly they're really healthy that way. That means that when they're older and their stupid friends are like, let's do this. And they're like, no, I don't want to do it.
Don't just
They're
go with the
fine
flow.
saying, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
I
I
kinda say
don't
that
want to
as
do that.
I say that about my kids sometimes. Like,
But when you tell them to always do it, also, God forbid, I was reading a thing like, little girls, that's our problem. Because we're told, be a good girl, which is quiet and do as you're told, and that you listen to grown-ups. So unfortunately, we're setting up little girls to be young women and women that have that same mentality. And that's unfortunately sometimes why, we sit there and allow awful things to happen to us.
Yeah.
Or, especially with grown-ups. I never thought about that. I'm like, God, I would hate. They're like, that's why sometimes girls are molested when they're little. And it's because they were told to listen to the grown-up.
yeah, trust them.
Grown-ups are always right, and you always say yes.
Yeah,
you always be quiet, and you be quiet, and you do what they tell them. So
That's-
now it's like, well, that just blew my mind. So
Yeah. It's never been a lesson in our life. My kids are like,
yeah,
basically, my rules are there's a couple rules. Don't be an asshole to anybody else. Don't.
you say asshole.
Yeah, don't fuck shit up. Don't fuck shit up. Yeah, don't fuck some shit up. And be cool. You know what I mean? And then other than that, you guys can do whatever you guys want. Just be cool. You know what I mean? So that they it gives them a little bit of control of their life a little bit. So my daughter, there's definitely not a big common. Definitely respect people, but be inquisitive, question. Don't trust anybody. I tell my daughter all the time, hey, all guys are straight. Rapist in the waiting. Rapist in the waiting. I tell them all the time.
It's better to err on this edge of caution.
Don't fucking trust none of these fucking dudes. They only want to fuck you. That's the only thing they want to do.
Well, also, they don't even know what they want.
They don't know what they want.
They're so, no offense to you, but
broken.
like they're so. It's not even like I'm going to set out to date rape this girl. They're not even, because they can't think. They're just like little animals. They're just.
I say it snowballs. I tell my kids that all the time.
You know what I mean? They're like, before they were like, oh, am I doing this? Like, I don't even think it's like a malicious intent. It just happens.
Old monkey DNA.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and it's unfortunate that we have to teach people to just be on the defensive all the time, but it's better than the other way.
Yeah. That's one lesson I tell my kid about the snowball.
I grew up really
not the actual
trusting.
act of snowballing.
I grew up way too trusting.
Yeah, see, not me. I don't trust nobody, but I tell my kids, like, you'll do something and easily your behavior or someone else's behavior can double because you guys are doing it, and then all of a sudden you're throwing rocks at windows, breaking windows because you thought it was fun. It snowballed into something wrong. So you got to really take yourself back when you're in action sometimes.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I'm just patiently waiting for menopause at this point, and I'm just like, winning. Yes, all my money is mine, and I don't have to. I don't have to deal with kids really. I went to an open mic, and some woman, she brought her kids.
What the fuck?
It was an audition mic for the Comedy Chateau. It's in the Valley.
Lock the kid up in a car like an adult.
Leave him at home is what I was thinking. But I think she was new to comedy. It was Mother's Day, and that they were on Sundays. And I was like, okay, well, and it's a long audition. The kids were like sitting there for hours and hours of everyone going on stage. And some people were like, adjusting their set for them. I didn't. Or they got too comfortable, so then they were talking. Mm-hmm. Oh, hell no. I'm like, your kid is talking? I wasn't allowed to do that when I was a kid. My mom, I would have no. That was not allowed. I wouldn't even have done it. But these kids are just talking, and, they're interacting, and then, unfortunately, the people will go on stage, they're like, oh, I guess we have to interact with these kids, so they're being, like, kind of teaching them it's okay. And I went up there, and I don't have stage fright. Don't have it.
Yeah.
My motor skills, my hands were shaking because they were right there. And I'm like, am I afraid of children?
Yeah. Don't let them touch me.
It was the weirdest thing because I was like, well, I'm not going to change my set because you're a bad parent. Like, I'm going to say it, but I do cuss a lot. So I'm just like, ooh, okay. And then it just is so weird because I think I was talking fine, but my hand was kind of shaking a little because I was just like, they're right there, and they kept getting closer. And at one point they talked, and I looked at them. And the thing is, I will glare at a baby. Mm-hmm. I don't care. I'm the worst. I'm also used to being shot up with Botox, so usually I think I look nice. I know I was like, lasers were coming in my eyes. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm talking. And I just looked at it, and it's like so cute looking back at me, and I'm like, okay, so if I yell at this kid, I'm gonna be a jerk. So I'm just like, okay, where's your mommy? We're gonna play the quiet game. Why don't we see how long we can hold our breath, and maybe you'll pass out? Like, I was like, where is your mom? Yeah. Come get it. There's two of them. There are two of them right there. She's way in the back. And they're right there, and I was like, oh my god, it's like two snakes or two clowns or whatever the fuck I'm allergic / terrified. They're right there, and they terrified me. I was like, you guys belong in a little fun house. But at the same time, like, if you bring your kid, right, I'm like, that's not the area. I was like, you guys are gonna learn some things today.
Yeah, I'd be distracted the whole time. It
was weird. No, and I have this. I have been married 3 times. I actually have been married 3 times. I tell it in a joke, and then we talk about when I get married again. And I always say that when I was younger, my loves were cocaine, cock, and cake. Now, I only have cake. Now, I was just like, these kids are going to learn so much today. Yeah. And I was just, the part of me was like, don't say it. Don't. So that's only like one of the many inappropriate things I said in front of these kids. And I was like, don't say it. And then the other double half was like, not my monkey, not my circus.
Yeah. You got to let them handle it.
I was like, I was just like, cocaine. Ask your mommy what it is. That's probably why you're born. I don't know. It's just like so many evil things wanted to come out of my mouth, and I don't know what's wrong with me. But I think that's just being a comic.
No, that's okay, because you don't know. You might influence those kids to be the greatest comics ever. You just started it.
Oh my gosh! I was like, I'm so sorry. Or coke addicts, or it's a cautionary tale, and they'll just never do either.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, would I bring? And I was like, if I had kids, would I? I don't know. I don't think I would. I think
have to respect the situation.
I think give them an opportunity to win up until a point. You know, my mom took me everywhere. And it was very much, it wasn't even a rule. It was just naturally understood. Do as I say, not as I do.
Kids would be seen.
I didn't want to be with babysitters, so I was just really quiet. I was a good kid. I didn't really rock the boat when I was a little kid, but like, I don't know. I think my mom just didn't understand. She thought I didn't understand what I was saying. I very much understood what I was saying. I just thought adults do that. These kids had no boundaries. They were just like da 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 da, and I'm like, go sit down.
See, my parents are hardcore stoners, and so like everything with people coming over, I see my parents do coke and smoking weed all the time. You know, Reuben passed the joint, and like 2 years old, and like, oh, you took a hit of the joint. It's fucking funny, you know. So, but then all their friends were Hell's Angels and big people. So I'm also not allowed to be involved in this. I'm not here to say hi and then get the fuck out because they don't want to hear me. They're watching fights and they're partying. Yeah. You know, so like, I would always just pull myself. I had no interest in being where the adults were. Let adults do their shit. Yeah. And let me do my thing. I have a thing with child actors. How do you feel? I hate them. I don't know any I like. They bug the shit out of me. I'll mind you if I had kids though. If I had children, my last husband really wanted kids. And people were like, would you have kids? I'm like, I don't know. I'm giving them free reign. It's this problem. But we were hoping for twins. Only because I was like, great, because they'd be really cute, and we put them to work. And like, you would make your kids work in the industry? I'm like, what's the point of having them then? It would be such a waste of talent. My ex-husband was a ballroom dancer. And very handsome. Like, these kids would... DTW? Huh? DTW?
Yes.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I read a story.
Yeah. So yeah, it'd be a shame. We'd have to have two, so they could have a SAG card and not have to worry about them.
One takes care of the other.
Absolutely. But at the same time, I cannot stand child actors because they talk like this and they're always on. And I'm like, talk like a normal person. What is wrong with you? I don't know. I just feel like
I've watched all those
whenever I see a movie or something and the kid is not annoying as fuck, I'm like, oh, that one's okay.
Yeah, how are you going to turn
that one's okay. Oh my gosh. Or because or the ones that like, they play the outlandish character, the kid that's too much. Then I can imagine what it's like to be their parent. I'm like, where's the mute button on you? I don't know. There's a reason the Lord looked out and I don't have children.
It's okay. People choose and people don't. You know?
Yeah. I was just like, I'm like, there's no off button. I love the little quiet, well-behaved ones though.
You know,
I will watch. I have my goddaughter. She's a quiet. She's very outgoing, but she's not annoying. She gets it. Yeah. My nephew, I'd have him in the car, and I was just like, you could tell I was just he was talking too much, and he goes, am I stressing you out? And I'm like, no, I'm a little overwhelmed. And I goes, do you mean me to be quiet? I can be quiet for 5 minutes. And he's like, watch. Yeah. I was like, I would love that. Could you? He's like, oh yeah, I'll just let you calm down. And he was just very, very aware that his Aunt Rachel is special and she's not used to kids. And he was just very hyper aware to it. So he'd watch me and he'd take the cues and he goes, she's getting nervous. I'll be quiet. And it was great. So if all kids could do that, it'd be amazing.
Yeah, no, they're all different. You don't know what you're going to get and how you
just put your hand in the bag and like, oh, please don't be a serial killer. Please don't be a serial killer.
That's actually why I kind of opposite. I stayed married so long my first time because I didn't want to be away from my kids. But then when I got a divorce, I was realizing that I miss my kids. We still talk all the time, every day, no matter what. But that week that I got myself back, and just got to be Reuben instead of Dad and tired of everything, I really I think it really helped me, even and their mom got to grow to be their own person. Finally, like, oh man, this is so much better now that I still miss my kids and I coach them, so I still seem like every day, but I was able to breathe because it's not every day, it's every second.
Every second of the day,
And
it doesn't end when they're 18.
No, even when you go to bed, you go to bed, you're like one eye open. Was that going to fall out? What's going to happen? Someone come to the door. There's so much, and it doesn't stop. And then we turn 18, then it's like fuck.
It still doesn't end.
Yeah, it can go on forever, but
yeah.
It is what it is. I got lucky. These kids are nice.
They're good.
This
one's
take
fine.
it for what it is. Yeah. Well, Rachel, you've done a great job.
Thank you.
Pretty good.
Thank
We
you.
got a good hour here.
Sorry I didn't brush my hair for the occasion.
You look amazing. And unfortunately, I have to stare at me and my buddy Josser. We're not the greatest looking. So he was going to come on here, and I think he got stage fright. He's like, man,
Stage fright.
He's like, this girl's way too pretty.
Well, now you know what I actually look like instead of a picture.
Yeah,
This is the unfiltered. There's no filters and airbrush.
Yeah,
So
he calls himself
quite normal.
An incel.
Very disappointing. Very normal.
Yeah, he calls himself an incel, so he's like, oh no.
Oh, he's an incel.
He jokes around, but he works at he's Punjab.
I'm sorry?
Punjab.
Okay.
So it's like a Sikh, like a Middle Eastern, just generalization. But he's American though. Like he he's agnostic and all the stuff. But he works at the gas station.
Americans are agnostic?
No, he doesn't practice like he's a Sikh. His families are Sikhs,
Okay.
and I think they do. I don't know if it's Sikhs or religion or I think Christianity or Muslim. I don't fucking know. But he's not that. But he's completely Americanized. But he works at the gas station, so that's where he's at right now.
Oh, okay.
Which I love. Boom. Like my co-star, he's a great guy.
Nice.
So he's missing out. I told him to come in here last minute, but we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I was late.
Oh, you're good.
I didn't realize how far it was, and then
You're stuck halfway through.
Well, I didn't. Normally I wake up quite early, and just it just kind of all hit me, and I was just really tired by the time I got home, and then we went out yesterday, and it was freezing, and I think like just the cold,
Couldn't take your
like the
bikini off.
cold, it was depressing.
Yeah.
It was so, I took my my friend on a tour to Rachel. It's like, this is my high school. This is where I used to skip school and go leave Dante's last period and go watch Surfer Boys before I had to go home. Then I took her all the little beaches and stuff, but it was freezing.
Yeah.
Absolutely freezing.
That one day.
Yeah, and I had like the first beach we went to, I only had like a little windbreaker on, and then the second one, I was like, I don't care how not cool I look. I had like a proper coat, a scarf. I'm just freezing. I'm just walking on the boardwalk. Everyone's, and they're half naked. I don't know what it is. I'm like, aren't you cold?
We're used to it.
Yeah, I was freezing. I was freezing. It took me I think I was cold. Like I had the fireplace on when I got home last night because I was just freezing.
Yeah.
Well,
once again, like I say, so I hit up many comics, many people, and trying to get people in here. And when you responded instantly, because you didn't know where we're at, but you're like, yeah, I'd love to come on your thing, and you're nice and polite, and I couldn't say any more nice things about you. I really appreciate it.
Thank
this
you.
means a lot to us. So, well, that's about it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we're out. Till next time, subscribe, share, like, hit us up.